Boeing exiting space. Captain, she's breaking up. She's breaking up. I don't know if I can hold her together. Well, that's a poor Scotty impression. I know. Keep your day job. Well, I'm retired. I don't have a day job. But anyway, yeah. Okay, here's the first part. They're gonna try to split it up. Going to try to get back to profitability. Well, what the heck's going on here with Boeing? This used to be a great company. My gosh, Bill Boeing. I hope they buried him face down because I'm sure he's rolling over in his grave. Well, okay, a lot of the critics are coming out and say, "Hey, what's going on here?" Well, uh, part of it was the culture that put financial engineering, as they called it, ahead of aerospace engineering. They started outsourcing everything. Now, I worked for Boeing, built Boeing Military Aircraft Company in Wichita, Kansas, and I was in IPB 3. I had a desk there, Industrial Park Building 3. Huge building, like 300 feet by 300 feet. I could sit at my little desk. We weren't good enough to have cubicles. I could sit at my desk and I could wave to an engineer 200 feet away at his desk. You know, he probably couldn't see me because engineers don't have that great eyesight. But anyway, the place was huge. There were a few little cubicles scattered here and there and that. It wasn't a total clear shot, but it was just a massive desk. But we were working on doing a quality project and doing a quality program. Now, I left Boeing when I went back to work for United as a pilot after furlough, and but I knew a lot of the engineers, and they left one day working for Boeing. The next day they came into their same desk. Now they're working for Spirit, and of course at lower pay. And well, if we outsource this, we'll let Spirit take all the heat if something goes wrong. Well, now they're finding out maybe that's not a good idea, and they're trying to get them back. But they did that to cut costs and everything like that, and they were basically trying to pursue production goals over safety goals. And Boeing is still in a lot of trouble as of now. Ortberg is talking about slashing 17,000 jobs, selling up to 25 billion in shares, and exploring the sale of the space business. The machinists have rejected the second contract offer, the 30,000 machinists. They walked off 6 weeks ago, roughly, and Boeing's losing $1 billion a month estimated, and they're going to be bleeding cash into 2025. Now, I had said that I attributed a lot of it to the, what's called as the reverse merger back in '97, where Boeing bought McDonnell Douglas, but their management kind of came over and they were more concerned with, profit over safety. But actually, it goes back, a lot of the critics are saying, back to 1990 when they started to emulate a lot of the things that GE had done under Jack Welch. Now, when I had a layover in Kona in the Hawaii Islands there was a low-cost bookstore there, and of course, you got a lot of time on layovers out at the beach, so you want to have a book. So I would pick up these books at a very good price, and I'm reading about Jack Welch here and GE. And he is talking about the importance of people and how critical people are and how you got to take care of his people. And I go, man, that's just wonderful. That's a wonderful attitude. And then he talks about, well, closing a plant, laying off tens of thousands of people. And I go, wait a minute. What about you're taking care of good people? You're taking care of your people. Where does that come in? Well, then reading a little more, I found out, well, the people that he was talking about that you had to take care of, those were the people in upper management. The lower scumbags that actually did the work, you didn't care about them. You just lay them off. You'd move a factory around. Those people weren't mattered. It was your managers who were the critical ones you had to take care of. So like I said, the reverse merger with McDonnell Douglas just still brought in the managers who were more concerned with profitability. And the thing in this country is, man, you got to show short-term profitability. They don't care about long-term profitability, where the people who have an engineering background says, yeah, we may not make money on this right away, but we're going to build a good product that is going to be the stalwart of this company. Now it's short-term profits, and you're pushing everybody. All right, so how far is Boeing going to stretch the string on the 737? We start out with the 737 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. If you get up to the point where you call them the 737-1200, 1500, 2000, it sounds like you've kind of stretched the string there, and when are you producing a 737 and when are you producing a 757? So, but they wanted to keep the same type rating because a lot of people flew the 737 and training costs were a big issue. In fact, when they came out with the MAX, they told the airlines, in fact, I think they said, we'll pay $1 million penalty per aircraft if you can't have zero training costs on this. Well, with the bigger engines, the underslung, they had some low speed stability problems, so they put in this MCAS, and the engineers saw, we don't have to tell the pilots about that. We don't even invite the test pilots to the meeting. They don't need to know about that. Well, guess what? They had some problems. And but the point was, we're not going to train anybody about this. We're not even going to put it in the flight manual. We're not going to tell them about it. Well, 6 years ago this month, we had the first crash of the Lion Air Flight 610. Boeing wouldn't admit any mistakes there. The airplane's fine. And then they very quickly had a second crash. So Boeing, we got to put out a press release. Well, then the CEO, Dennis Muhlenberg, now they've been through a lot of CEOs, but that's okay because all these guys leave with a wonderful golden parachute, so they don't have to worry about money the rest of their life and stuff. And I could get into some tales about extravagant Boeing yachts and some of the lifestyle these people had and stuff like that. But Dennis Muhlenberg, who was the CEO during this time, told his communications team to remove from the press release any mention about anything wrong with the cockpit procedures. There was nothing no training they need to do. There was nothing wrong, and the press release actually declared the MAX as safe as any airplane that has ever flown the skies. Boeing and Muhlenberg settled the case without admitting any wrongdoing. Well, this was kind of the start of things going downhill. And I mean, we got the 737 crashes, we got the plug doors going out. Boeing is not going in a good trend, and it's starting to get a very bad reputation. Well, what happened to this company? I mean, okay, they're talking about the aerospace division. Well, let's talk a little bit about history there. We got the Saturn V. And like I said in the previous video, I sat next to an engineer who was involved in the design. Now, this is absolutely a massive vehicle, and this was, everybody kind of got a piece of the action. Different companies did different parts, and it's amazing how this all came together, and it came together very successfully. This was done back. This thing was built with slide rules. Okay, that's how old this how old this is. And then when I went through electrical engineering class, I had my big slide rule. I still got it over here, but that's how they built these things, and they worked. And Boeing was a good company with people dedicated to building a good product. Well, the space shuttle is listed under one of the Boeing projects, but that's only because Boeing back in 1996 bought Rockwell International. They're the people who really made the space shuttle. But Boeing is the prime contractor on the space station, and they're going to deorbit this fairly soon here, and that's going to be a big piece of material and change coming back. I wonder if it's going to accidentally deorbit over Moscow or Beijing. I don't think that's been set up yet. Now the SLS, so far that's going good. That's a big rocket. It's the one supposed to go back to the moon. Well, it's going relatively successfulely. They've had a lot of delays and had some issues, but that for this type of program, a lot of these things are cutting edge technology, and it doesn't go easy on that, and it takes a lot of work to get it right. But that's going fairly well, although behind schedule. Okay, so we got the Starliner here. Well, okay. It's like you drive your car out to the Grand Canyon and the company calls you and says, "Yeah, we don't know that that's going to be safe to drive back. We want you to take the bus back home." Of course, you're stranded there because the bus doesn't come for another 6 months. So the guys that are stuck in space, you know, it's not that, hey, these are test pilots, they're taking risks. No, we don't want that. After the Challenger accident, Boeing got a lot more religion on let's do things safely and let's not throw the dice here. If you take a revolver, put one bullet in the chamber and you spin it, it's called Russian roulette. You put it to your head, you pull the trigger and it doesn't go off. Did you commit a safe act? No, you did not. So, NASA and Boeing got a little more concerned that let's make sure this thing is right before we put more human lives at risk, because they found some issues that they just weren't happy with. So let's talk about Boeing in general, the last clean sheet airplane they made, which is the 787. Now, this was the one that, was not based on a previous design. And now this was a lot of cutting edge technology. It's basically an all electric airplane. And I've ridden on it, and the thing is a pleasure to fly in. And I flew the simulator on it. It's a great airplane. I mean, they did a good job, but it was riddled with a lot of problems early on. The batteries had issues. They credit a lot of the outsourcing with causing a lot of the problems. But it had a rough start. It was pushing the envelope there, but it's a great airplane. The pilots love it. I think they called it Sparky at one time. I'm not sure if that nickname is still there. But, from the passenger camp standpoint, with the lower cabin altitude, the greater humidity, I flew it back from Europe, and it was just really a dreamliner. They did a good job on this, but this is the last clean sheet. And what do they got next on the drawing board? They always have a group that works on future project, but there's nothing really that's coming down. But let's go back to the real success story, which was the Boeing 777. And I, as the chairman of ALPA National New Aircraft Evaluation and Certification Committee, was involved in this. I flew a number of flight tests on the aircraft, and I was chairman of the Working Together Committee that put the pilot's influence in on the design. And we had a great relationship with Boeing on this. And Boeing was awarded the Collier Trophy for the development of the 777, and Boeing got the trophy, but they also credited people who helped, like Airline Pilot Association. So if you're involved as, kind of one of the helpers on that trophy, your group gets its own little trophy. So somewhere in ALPA headquarters, you ever get a chance to see it, upper right-hand corner on the little Collier Trophy is my name there as team leader. Now let me tell you about Alan Mullally. I mean, this guy was probably one of Boeing's last great managers. I mean, this guy was cool. Now, he smiled. He was effervescent. I mean, he was just effusive. He was bubbling. And I had many meetings with him. I've had lunch with him. The guy, to me, initially, when I met him, I mean, he's brilliant. He did a good job. This was a great program. But he just seemed too friendly and outgoing to have what it took to be tough to run a program. And almost kind of like a valley girl, in just being so happy and stuff like that. And it just kind of, for the longest time, it just didn't set with me about how he could have the, what he needed to run a program like this. Well, we're out at a convention, industry convention, and he's standing next to a big Boeing display out there, and he and I are having this very nice little friendly conversation because, we know each other from previous work. And this guy comes walking up, and he interrupts the conversation and says to Ellen, he says, I've got this product that I think would be good for Boeing, and your people won't get it, won't give me any time on this, so I want to talk to you directly. And he's smiling and stuff. He turns to this guy and he says, if my people don't like it, I don't like it. Don't you ever approach me directly again. And then he turned back and we had this nice conversation. I'm going, he does have the gonads to be the type of person he needs to be to run this program in spite of his nice little jubilant exterior. So what's going to happen to Boeing? Well, the defense and aerospace part of it is 31% of their total revenue. And, the defense is still, it's going well. They've got their various programs there. But basically, okay, you start shedding parts. If you get trouble, you start shedding parts. And, some aspects of their space program are going okay, other ones aren't going so good. And, of course, this little guy, Elon Musk, is just eating Boeing's lunch on this whole thing about getting to space. And, I been involved with a lot of the major manufacturers, and they can get rather arrogant on these new little upstarts. Well, sometimes the upstarts can really do a number on you. And Boeing stock, has gone up to it reached let's see, a record high of $446. It's now worth 155, and it's probably going to keep on tanking there. And in fact, with all these issues, the strike and stuff like that, their debt could be downrated to speculative. Boeing, which was a stalwart of the industry, could be downrated to speculative. That's amazing. Boeing has had some good managers, and I've worked with all level of management within Boeing, and there have been some great ones. But as of late, when you put the almighty dollar ahead of doing a good job, guess what happens? It doesn't work out very well. And that is a problem with, I'm not an MBA, I'm an engineer. But the problem with these, we got to show short-term profits. Of course, that's part of the whole thing with shareholders. And, I'm getting out of my expertise realm here, but, you can't look at just short-term profits. You've got to have a company that produces a good product, or your company may no longer exist. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth in insights and stuff like that. So I hope you found it interesting, enjoyable. Thanks for watching.